guys. We're on another episode of Fearless Pursuit of Freedom podcast, and today's guest is a former appraiser. Since 2003, he's flipped over 400 houses, and now he's written a book on the flipping blueprint. And I want to welcome you guys on the show with Luke Weber.
Thanks, Brandon. Happy to be here.
All right, man. I really appreciate you coming on. And so you've been in the business a long time. 2003, I was still a junior in high school. So tell me how you got into it, why you got into it, and some of the struggles. Because flipping over 400 houses, and you said at any one point in time, 40 plus houses going.
Yeah.
How'd you get there? Was it painful?
It was a slow process. So my real estate journey began in 2001 when I became an appraiser.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was just working and then I started realizing, hey, you know what, there's some deals out there. Let me buy something, fix it up and sell it. And eventually in 2003 rolled around, I didn't have any credit at that time. I had to build it up. It was the worst FHA loan that the loan officer had ever done. Because there was just no credit. I had no history. I paid cash for everything leading up to it.
Yeah.
But found the house. It was actually a condo. Fixed it up. I made every mistake you could on it.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in it while I was doing it. I did repairs myself. And you quickly understand your limits of construction after getting electrocuted a couple times.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I overpaid contractors. I overimproved the property. A whole bunch of things that you learn from through experience or from talking to people or listening to like podcasts like yours. But end result was I ended up making over $80,000 on it, and said,
"Not bad.
This is pretty good. Let's keep it going."
Time to make a change, huh?
Yeah. It's at that time I had no clue about this whole investing world that we're now part of.
Yeah.
And, I didn't know anything about hard money loans or wholesalers or any of that, that is so predominant in my life now.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't learn about it for a number of years. I was just buying properties out of the MLS. Every once in a while I would get a pocket listing from a realtor. And that was for my first 3 or 4 years or so that it was just slow going. I bought some rentals, flipped some more houses, and then the market crashed. Now being an appraiser, I was already tracking the market.
Yeah.
And I stopped buying, and then I started trying to sell stuff, and I was able to sell most things that I wanted to sell, but the market was going down so fast. And for the listeners that don't know me, I'm in Las Vegas, which was like the epicenter of the fall. If a house was worth $100,000, it was down to $33,000. So we went down 66% in Las Vegas. It's just to throw numbers at it. And 2010 rolled around, and I had been watching the market, still appraising. Suffered through the recession like most people did, but then built my business back up, changed, adjusted, and 2010 rolled around, and I started investing again. I started investing with a friend of mine. We became business partners, and we started expanding our knowledge base. We went out, and each of us have paid over $100,000 in education courses, because we knew we were going to use that information.
Right.
And we learned all these different ways to find properties, to finance properties, new ways to fix and flip, and we expanded our business. 2012 rolled around, and we said, hey, we're taking this thing full time. We each had our own appraisal shops. We closed those down, and I've been investing ever since. And I think we're probably closer to that 500 property mark now for flips. And it didn't just happen overnight. And it's not just me and my partner. We've got a team of people now, and we I think have 45 active flips right now.
Wow.
In 3 different states.
That's awesome. Oh, what are the other 2 states?
Texas.
Nice.
But that's Houston, and then Ohio.
Man, Ohio, it keeps coming up, and everybody I talk to, everybody's doing something in Ohio. The cash flow is nice there, I've heard.
Yeah, cash flow in the Midwest is great. Flipping is definitely able to be done. We're trying this one out with a new contractor. It's funny. It's a 5-acre farmhouse with 2 huge barns. It's small little pond and everything, and the ARV on it's like 209,000.
Wow!
And we bought it for 50 and put 65 into it. So we're just the final stages of it. I think it should be hitting the market this weekend.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it seems like it should sell 5 acres for 200,000 and a couple buildings and a pond. I mean, it sounds like a lot of retiring people's dream location, or not necessarily location, but dream situation.
Yeah, I'm from the Midwest originally. I grew up in Wisconsin.
Oh, really?
And, I mean that's a common type of house for the burbs.
Yeah. So you've got 45 houses under construction. How are you structuring that team? Acquisition, disposition, property management, rehab managers. I mean, how are you doing that?
Yeah, everybody grows their team differently, and what I tell people is that when you're really saying, "Hey, I'm overwhelmed with what I'm doing. I want to get bigger."
Yeah.
The first things you should hire are what you don't know and what you don't like to do.
Yeah.
So we our first hire was a transaction coordinator, and she just does the paperwork. She's a liaison for us for the title companies, the realtors, the wholesalers. But then we picked up in-house bookkeeper, and then we had office managers / everything else. Then we picked up an in-house realtor. Then we picked up a property runner that goes out and checks on our properties. Then we picked up an acquisitions manager. Then we picked up a project manager. And then we picked up a construction manager. Then we picked up a couple more in-house construction guys that can just make sure properties are being maintained, that they're being, bio repairs are being completed on time and done right. We got a couple others in there too now, but it just kind of grew each department as its own. And our construction department is now going to be spinning off into its own construction company. That should be done in about 2 months.
Nice. Yeah. So as pain points arose, you kind of just organically grew into this big old intermesh system.
Yeah, you got to be able to take the blinders off, step back, and say, what does my business need next? What is taking up most of my time that I could give to somebody else so I can free myself up for the bigger things?
Yeah. I noticed that pretty early on my very first flip. Me and Ashley, we did almost all the work, 85% of the work. Aside from the HVAC, plumbing, wiring, and roof, we did it all. I mean, it was stupid. It was 3 months of every day, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And it was a freaking nightmare. I was like, man, I'm never going to make a career or an income off of this if I'm doing one every 3 months. We ended up doing all right. We made $27,000, and we were able to get that into the next house. But
did you break that down to what your hourly wage was?
I don't want to know. What's like 30 cents an hour or something?
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. It's if you're doing it yourself, you're better off getting a job at 7-Eleven or McDonald's sometimes, because it just you're not the quickest, you're not the expert at everything.
No,
and you're gonna have cost overruns on things that you messed up on, and
everything. I mean, I had 5 plumbers in there. I had 3 different people doing drywalling and texturing because they either didn't show up or overcharged or stayed until 3 a.m. drinking and then didn't finish. Or it was incredible. It was definite learning experience. So I'm glad I did it that way, I guess, in a sense. But about 2 months into that one, I ended up contracting another one, but had no money. It was all tied up in this house. And so I was able to partner with a buddy of mine, and I saw how he did it. And he's a pretty high level guy doing all kinds of flips and apartments and everything. But he was never there. He showed up, looked at the house so he could see what he was buying, and then never came back. He had the project manager. He had the crew set up. He had all the supplies and flooring and such. He already had all that stuff in mind, and it was seamless. He never showed up, and I was like, that's the way I need to run this business right here.
Yeah.
And, it was a game changer. So one of the things that a lot of people I see that want to get into flipping or anything in real estate, they got two problems: leads, and that could be taught pretty easily, and then financing, which I discovered myself is somewhat easy after you get into it and you realize that you find the deal, you find the money. How would you say you started out with financing and to what you've merged into, and able to manage such huge deal flow?
Yeah, it's as far as financing goes, like I said, when we first started, I bought my first house with a FHA loan and 3% down, and the money I was making at my job paid for the continual work on the house, and that was it. A little bit of savings. I wasn't a trust fund baby by any means.
Right.
Everything I've got, I had to work for. But as we grew and we started looking for different avenues to increase our available funds, we just kind of let people know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of money, but they don't have time. Real estate is a great place to put money, but they don't know how to do it. Either they don't know how to do it or they just don't want to. Right? Yeah. They're like, oh, going into dirty houses, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
yeah, it's fun for us, or me anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I think I went almost 4 months at the beginning of this year where I didn't even go into one of our properties, because we got people do it. Now I've started going back into properties just because I do like taking the before and after pictures and doing some trainings for the team and things like that.
Right.
But the money, like you said, if you have a good deal, typically there's money out there for it. That's really the way it works. Right. You have to be able to present it the right way. If you sound unconfident of the deal, the funders are typically not going to be believing in the deal.
Right.
I just had one of my students reach out to me yesterday, and I had previously worked with him developing an ARV on this property, and he said, "Well, we were at $440,000 on it." And he came back to me yesterday and said, "The seller has an appraisal at $520. So should we run that for our ARV?" And my response to him was, "Well, you think you can really sell it at $520?"
Yeah.
I said, "No." So there's your answer. If you're not confident in the numbers, you should be using those numbers. I said, you have to use a number that you believe in and can prove. And when you're looking for that money out there for somebody to come in and give you, whether it's $20,000 or $500,000 on a deal, you want to be able to give them some proof of, hey, this is what the numbers are. This is why it's going to work. And this is why you're going to make money. And this is why you should trust me to handle your money safely.
Yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of not necessarily just wholesalers, but other investors trying to talk themselves into a higher ARV. And so I'll run the numbers. And I'm like, the area's nice, and I feel like it might be, let's say, 500,000, but I can only prove based off of these comps 430. So my ARV is 430.
Yep.
At the end of the day, if something happens and you're able to market it at 500 and get 500, it's gravy on the biscuit, So, but if I can't see numbers, verifiable proof that it's above 430, my number's 430 all day.
Yeah, and the reason why so many new investors do that, and even a lot of experienced investors still do that, they're worried that there's not another deal out there. Yeah. And I can tell you, there's plenty of deals out there. Vegas, I think we just an article came out yesterday that we are the hottest real estate market in the U.S. again. We would kind of go from 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
And there's plenty of deals out there. I get deals sent to me every day. There's always more deals. Don't get into a property just because you want to want one, like I got to get started. I'm okay taking a $10,000 profit on this one.
Yeah.
Well, that 10,000 isn't guaranteed.
Mm.
Play safe. And that's really what I focus on. It's, I have to be able to prove it. Right. And I want to know my numbers, and I'm going to play safe. And like you said, gravy on the biscuit. When we sell for more, hey, that's more we get.
Yeah. Yeah. My ARVs are always very conservative. And then one of the things I always tell newbies is have 3 people look at it, your numbers, and then have at least another set of eyes, if not 2, 3 more eyes, look at it and verify that your numbers are right. That way you're not making any wrong steps. And
impartial eyes too.
Yeah.
If the realtor is making a commission on it, they're not impartial.
Right. Yeah.
Right. If the contractor is like, oh yeah, this looks like a great deal, I'm sure you can sell this at 500. Well, he gets paid for his work either way.
Oh yeah.
Impartial eyes. Network with some people, ask for their help, and hey, what do you think of this deal?
Yeah. I do it to this day, and I've looked at hundreds of deals. But anyways, let's get back to you. So you're flipping, you got 45 plus going on now. Are you building rentals? Like, what's the current strategy? I mean,
well, we actually, between 2010 and 2013, we built up a pretty big rental portfolio. Mm-hmm. And then over the course of last year, we sold off a lot of that because it wasn't properties that we wanted for the long term. A lot of people say, oh, you should never sell a property.
Yeah.
But properties have a life cycle, right? If we still had them, they'd be worth a bit more, but we actually make a hell of a lot more money flipping houses. And we're watching the market and we say, hey, you know what? In the next 1 to 3 years, there's going to be a downturn. Let's make sure that we're in a liquid cash stage where our houses are running 3 to 4 months, and we're turning that money over and getting the big chunks now, so that when the market does turn, we can rebuild that portfolio with cheaper houses again. Mm-hmm. And at that point, we're going to start looking at some of the more long-term investments, properties that have a longer life cycle versus what we passionately refer to as S boxes here.
Oh, okay.
Shit boxes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's kind of stuff we're buying. You know, when you're buying houses at $20,000 to $50,000.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they're $20,000 to $50,000. Now, a lot of those we sold for $150,000 to $250,000 after we ended up fixing them up. We rented them for 3 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. Then, when the tenant moved out, we said, okay, we're going to fix it up and now make it a flip, sell it for retail, and that's where we get a lot of our funding now from that game plan. Yeah. We knew that was like a 5-year portfolio. But that being said, we still have rentals. I still have notes on various properties that we did owner financing on, some lease options and things like that.
Yeah. I hear a lot of people doing that right now. People that have, small portfolios of 15, 20, upwards of 100 and 150 is they're downsizing their portfolio for the non-desirable areas and the low equity properties.
Yep.
And they're just unloading them to be more liquid. That seems to be the name of the game right now, is make sure there's money available for whenever the shift does happen, you just go on a buying spree and capture more equity.
Yeah. I think we capped out at 78 properties.
Nice.
And, it took time and energy to build those, and went through a lot of property management companies. But the thought process of having rentals, people have to realize that you're not going to replace your income having 5 rental properties, 6 rental properties. Really, your income should be getting replaced at around 20 rental properties. Yeah. And it should be replaced and be able to be sustained. Yeah. And then you're looking at building that portfolio larger and being hands off on it too, just like doing the construction on the houses.
Yeah.
If you're a property manager, you're losing money because you're either too nice or everything just takes too much time, and you're working that minimum wage or low income wage, chasing rents, placing tenants, and things like that.
Yeah, you got to step back from the situation, really determine, what's your cost of time, and being your own manager. I mean, if you're under 5, 10 max. I mean, it kind of makes sense money wise, but like you said, 20 is about that point where your cash flow is nice, your vacancy you don't have to necessarily worry about, and the headaches start to become smaller with scale if done properly. So I've heard. I don't have a portfolio, but so I've heard.
Get there soon enough. It really can happen pretty quickly. It starts steamrolling, and there's people that are listening, and that might be their only desire to have rental properties. I don't want to flip houses. I don't want to be part of that. But it all really comes down to knowing the number, right? And it's funny how many people don't know how to properly calculate just how much they make on a rental property. You start looking at, like you said, vacancy, right? Vacancy is a killer. If you go 1 month, most people actually lose money on that rental property for the year.
Yeah.
Right? The property empties out. You got to do some repairs to it. All of a sudden, that $100, $200 a month that you were making is all eaten up by that one mortgage payment and some carpet and paint.
Yeah, it's gone. It's a negative for probably the next year and a half, probably. Yeah. Yeah. It's something like I forget who I was talking to, but they're like, oh yeah, I put in a brand new AC on a tenant turn and all new this. I'm like, man, that dollar amount spread over the next couple of years just made you negative. I don't know. The numbers are numbers, and a lot of people tend to get emotions involved with real estate, and you just got to cut it out.
Yeah. Yes. Some people will go top heavy on it right away. Thinking, I'll have this house for 20 years, 30 years, right? It's my retirement. It's my nest egg.
Yeah.
But if you can't afford that equity, just like the stock market, if you don't cash out at the right time, it can be more of a burden than a boon at the end.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, real estate can be one of those asset classes that are somewhat risk-free, but can ruin you in the same token overnight if you don't think clearly, pull emotions out, and have other people verify it. So are you outside of single family right now? You doing any small apartments, storage units, mobile homes?
So I buy anything I can make money on. That's my rule of thumb. If I can make money on it, I buy it. So everything from manufactured homes to apartment buildings and anything in between. This year alone on manufactured homes, we'll probably net over $500,000.
Really?
Yeah, just on manufactured homes. That's a single manufactured home on a parcel of land.
Yeah. So attach the property where they can get FHA financing.
No, not always. Some of these are not even converted to real property, so they can't get a traditional loan.
Oh, so you owner finance it to them at that point?
Sometimes, yep. Or we get cash buyers on them too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so crazy. People buying cash for a mobile home, but they just want the simple life, I guess. And then you're like, well, man, how do they save up $40,000? It's strange, but it happens.
Depending on where people are coming from, mobile homes are a very common property type. They're born and raised in one, and they have no problem retiring in one.
Yeah. Yeah, though actually where I came from in Northern Arizona, Flagstaff, there's some areas where you can buy a single or a double wide in the mid 200s to 300,000.
Oh yeah.
For a nice double wide on a little parcel of land on the hillside, and it's like, man, it's crazy.
Our top one we sold at 180,000 here in Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think our average price on them right now is right around 150.
Yeah. Man, some of those double wides, they're like mansions in size, giant jacuzzi tubs, huge kitchens, granite, everything.
Big detached garages, carports. It can live just like a single family house.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some pretty sweet ones.
Oh yeah.
Well, digging around your Facebook, doing a little pre-stalking, I noticed you like to travel. What kind of areas you like to go? And you got a little family you travel with, so
so I'm married. It was actually my son's birthday yesterday, or 2 days ago, on the 28th. So he just turned 11, and we love traveling together. We go anywhere we can. Last summer, we spent a couple weeks in Italy.
Nice.
Christmas was Paris. This year we went to a couple different Hawaiian islands a couple different times.
Awesome.
we're still trying to figure out what our. I actually might have family coming in for Thanksgiving, so I think we're staying here. But we're planning that Christmas trip right now.
Yeah.
Where I don't know. I just like traveling and exploring and having new adventures.
Oh yeah.
And I love food too, so I'm always looking for that next adventure, getting off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Going where it's locals go. I mean, I've been through Central and some of South America. Next summer, I think I'm doing an African safari for 3 weeks.
That's awesome. That's real awesome. I just got back from Peru in July, and we did a 1,200-mile motorcycle trip on some enduro bikes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you go down the coast all the way from Lima to Nazca and like that kind of route?
No, we stayed near the Andes Mountains, actually. So we flew into Lima and then flew down to Cusco, which was our home base for the area. And then we drove down to Puno, Arequipa, Chivay. Anyways, 1,200 miles, like many big towns. And then some of the smallest, most poverty-stricken towns. But then they always have great food. It's like, holy crap, this food is great.
Did you try the cuy while you were there?
The guinea pig? I did, yeah.
I did. So my wife and I, before we had our son, we did 3 weeks in Peru, adventure traveling, hiked the Incan Trail and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a blast. And the food, the food was amazing. People were amazing. But it's funny because, or not funny, but it's eye-opening because you go into some villages and they don't have glass on the windows. They still have dirt floors in their small little houses.
Yep.
But yeah, it's always eye-opening when you go to other places and see how people do and can live.
And they're so freaking happy with it too. Yeah. They don't know any different, and so they look at us over here in America and just think we're all noses in the air, stuck up. But it's freaking awesome. Like, it's sad to see people living like that, but at the same time, they're running around joyous, laughing, smiling, playing with their friends, kicking a old raggy ball around with no shoes on. It's like, holy crap, these kids are like seriously happy right now with just like the most basic of resources.
A lot less problems and worries for a lot of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's you can still have nice things, but you can live with that attitude as well, and have that inner freedom that, hey, you know what, it's okay to smile and be happy and not stress out about everything.
Yeah, that's been my big push past couple of years, is realize that what I have, I need to be far more grateful for, and then while still pursuing, this thing that I call freedom, which includes travel and all kinds of things. But I mean, you've been a lot of places, and we're actually trying to decide what we're going to do for Christmas as well. Any suggestions? She wants beaches. We have 2 kids, but they're going to be gone for the Christmas. So it'd be an adult trip. She's thinking Hawaii. I'm thinking Thailand. I don't know.
So we haven't been to Thailand yet. That's I was actually just talking to my wife about Angkor Wat last night. If you go to Hawaii, we always love Maui. We actually got married on Maui. Nice. We basically eloped, and about 3 weeks before we were going out there, we told our families that, hey, by the way, we're getting married. If you want to come along, you can. Yeah. Like, nobody could afford it. When we knew that, we planned for that.
Right. Yeah.
So we just went and did that. But the road to Hana, if you haven't done it on Maui,
I've heard about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Stop at little food trucks, food stands along the way. It's a 3-hour drive of just beautiful.
Yeah.
There's no other way to describe it.
I haven't been there yet, but I'm dying, because anytime I go anywhere, it's always like, okay, can I find a beach and the mountains in the same spot? And so I like going to British Columbia.
Oh, yeah.
Around Vancouver and Squamish and all those little areas.
Yep. Whistler's awesome, amazing, both in the winter and the summer. Do you fish?
I do, yeah.
Panama is pretty cool.
Really?
You can have the city, the life, nightlife, and all that kind of stuff, but you can also get out into the rainforest and some of the eco lodges that are out there. And I went fishing in the Panama Canal, just me and a guide who spoke 0 English, right? My Spanish is just awful.
Oh yeah, same.
And we're driving in a little boat, passing these giant container ships that just
huge, yeah,
dwarf you. And we found a little flooded out old forest area that was now a lake, just off the canal. Howler monkeys up in the trees, shaking.
That's awesome.
Every time you cast, we were pulling in, solid 2 foot, almost 3 foot fish.
Really?
It was great. We
awesome.
two big buckets of fish. Went back, and the guy's like, "Here's yours." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm not going to cook them up in my hotel room." So,
right. Yeah.
But that food that we actually caught all went into the lodge's kitchen.
Yeah.
And we ended up eating it that night too, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is that where? Or no, I guess you're not near the rainforest, but I've seen some of those pro fishermen go down. I think it's in the Amazon where the rainbow bass are. They look like the normal American largemouth bass, but they are rainbow.
Yeah, I think that is Amazon. But there definitely is rainforest in Panama. But there's so many amazing places to go.
Yeah,
even just here in America, there's still amazing places. Small trips that really anybody can do. You just go and drive, and within 6 hours of any place in the U.S. is somewhere that is just amazing and off the beaten path.
Yeah. Even in boring old Dallas, I mean, Austin's 6 hours away, and they got some pretty decent stuff down there.
Oh, yeah.
No mountains. Sad about the mountains.
Couple of hills.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this one section they call the hill country, and I'm like, oh Lord, that's not a hill.
Yeah.
So we talked about traveling. I presume traveling is definitely a passion of yours. Any others, outdoors, aside from the fishing and such we've discussed?
Really anything outdoors. We go camping, we go hiking, just exploring, whatever it takes to go out and try something new. Food, like I mentioned earlier, I love cooking and just trying new food.
Yeah. You're real close to Reno and Lake Tahoe. I mean, how far away is Lake Tahoe? Never been there, but
so it's a 45-minute flight, but the drive is about 6.5 hours.
Oh, holy crap! Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it seemed a lot closer, being a state away. But
hey, it's easy enough to get to. Like I said, 6.5 hours, right? I just said 6 hours. There's something amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tahoe is awesome. We went. We rented a boat last, I think it was 3 years ago. We went with some friends, our family and their family, and we had a boat for the day, and took the kids tubing, and the water's cold and very clear. So the wives didn't get in, but we all had a good time.
Yeah, kids don't matter what temperature it is; they're going to get in and turn purple, and then you got to force them out. But
yeah, I believe we dragged the two kids, I don't know how many miles across while they're on the tube, just behind the boat, just enjoying the ride.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. We actually dug a lot more into personal life than I normally do, but you do cool stuff similar to me. Just to jump back into real estate just for a couple minutes, you've said you're doing apartments and anything that makes money, but anything that you're like, I want to do that.
I don't, because you got to keep the emotion out of it.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I would love to do more commercial stuff, but the returns just aren't there.
Yeah.
I look at large scale commercial shopping centers or 100 plus, 200 plus apartment buildings, and the ROI that you get on those is not great in comparison to what we're getting on our flipping. And with the market turn eventually coming up, I don't want to pay a top dollar price for something that, you go buy a $2 million apartment complex, and even though it's cash flowing in a down market, that could be $1 million or $1.5 million, and you just took a huge hit. I'd rather buy it at the $1.5 million mark and then ride it back up.
Yeah.
So it's those. I would be happy doing those projects.
Mm-hmm.
Happy designing a 10,000 square foot penthouse in one of the towers down on the Strip too.
Yeah,
I love that kind of stuff, but the return isn't there.
Yeah. Those situations, the market and those A-class penthouses, I feel like a lot of those A-class things are more of like a hedge fund play or ego-driven plays.
That's
the returns not there.
Really what it is. A lot of it becomes ego-driven where it's, hey, it's a feather in my cap. Look what I did.
Right.
I made 20 grand selling that $3 million apartment, but hey, it just look like you.
It's on the badge board.
Yeah.
Again,
I don't want to belittle anybody that is doing it, because there are ways to do it very successfully.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's just not my business model.
Yeah, and I don't have that kind of money anyway, so I can't. My ego is nowhere near there. So maybe in the future I'll do them just for myself. But
yeah.
Because I actually would like to build custom homes either in the mountains and do like the log design and the contemporary modern design and sell them for a couple million on the side of a mountain, and that'd be freaking awesome to me. But I'm just simply not there, so I definitely can't rag on anybody that's doing it because I want to do it. But
all different ways to do it too.
Yeah. So you've got a book. I see it in the background. Flipping Blueprint. Want to give us? That is it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that is it there. Yeah.
Give us a little snippet of what's in there.
It's really got a little bit of everything for getting into real estate, how to present yourself to people, how to find deals, how to run your numbers, how to do your rehabs. I touch on everything.
Yeah.
Because, well, let me back up and let you know why I wrote the book, right?
Yeah.
I found myself continually helping people, and after I got on social media and people started reaching out to me, I wanted to help.
Yeah.
I was answering the same questions over and over. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know what? Let me write a couple white pages, 5 to 20 page documents on a specific subject. Yeah. Like, hey, you have that question? Read this. And then I was like, I've got 6, 7 of these.
Yeah.
I can kind of there's a book here.
Yeah.
let me fill in the rest. All the little segments that I can, and I try to keep a lot of the storytelling and the fluff out of the book, and really just make it a step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how you find properties. This is how you talk to people. This is how you create your own real estate story so that people will talk back to you.
Yeah.
I wasn't an outgoing guy originally. I didn't have a dream of writing a book or being up on stages or anything, that kind of thing. I was happy sitting in the back of the room, having my drink, and figured people would come talk to me if they wanted to talk to me, right? Yeah.
That's me. Yeah.
But then I realized if they don't know you're there, they're not going to come talk to you. Yeah. And I started sharing my story and my experiences, and then pretty soon I've been on stages in front of 500 people, teaching them what I do in my business and how they can do it too.
Yeah.
The book is helping people. Just the book itself, I get maybe once a week or every 2 weeks out. Either somebody found a property because something in the book, or they found a way to save thousands of dollars on their business right now. And are being successful with the information in there, and that brings me so much joy to be able to have to be able to help people along their journeys.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I get quite a few questions in myself, and I'm like, man, same like you. I keep getting the same question, so I'm going to be doing a video soon on VAs. I use a lot of VAs to manage my back end right now because I'm still like in my infancy and can't bring on more people, but that's awesome. I don't envision myself over writing a book because I'm a horrible writer in English, and writing I wasn't good at it in school. But same thing, I'm in the back of the room, and then I'm like, man, if I'm ever going to grow, I need to start talking to people. And that's the number one reason why I started this podcast is I was scared out of my freaking mind to talk to strangers. And so I was like, all right, I'll put a camera and a mic in front of my face and we'll just see where it goes. So
And those first conversations you have with people, and not just the first ones, the continual ones you have, you are going to say something wrong. You're going to put your foot in your mouth. You're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But that's how you get better at things.
Yeah.
Do them. You have more conversations. You start talking to people.
Yep.
And you can't nitpick every little thing that you said. And like, oh, if I would have just said this, I would have had that $1 million investor. No, that's not how it works. But it's over time. It's having more conversations. It's looking at more deals and having those experiences that get you better at it. And if you are still just sitting in the back of a room, you got to get up. And I tell people, hey, if you're going to an event, you have to talk to at least 5 new people and have a real conversation about what they're doing in real estate and what you're doing and what both of you want to do in the future, where you're moving to.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing that, you're shorting yourself.
Oh yeah. Well, like this is recording, I don't know, you'll end up being like 18, 19, I think. But literally every time I sit down and do one of these interviews, I learn something new, oftentimes a ton of crap. But same thing when I go on my networking trips, it's literally life-changing, every single one. It's like, oh, people are doing that? Holy crap. So that was one of my things in the past year. I was like, I need to stop being in the back of the room and actually talking to people.
It works.
Otherwise, you'll never grow. You'll never grow. Can't learn it all on internet like I thought I could, but
it's not all just watching YouTube videos and reading. You get out there and talk to people and open up yourself, get out of your comfort zone and just take action.
Yeah, of course. Okay, let's wrap this up. I don't want to take too much time. I actually wrote down more questions for you for some reason. So I saw a picture of you with some, your vehicle had red seats, and I like cars. And typically red seats means it's a nice, cool car. What is that? And what kind of car, exotic car would you want if you want any?
So I'm not really a car guy. Yeah. But the funny thing is both my cars have red interiors.
Really?
My car is a Mini Countryman all 4. I can take it up to the mountains. It's got 4 doors on it. But it still has bucket seats in back. So I can't take 3 of my son's friends with them. I can only grab 2.
Yeah.
And I that's my drive around car. And the car you're talking about is we have a Jag F-Pace. That's the Jaguar SUV.
Oh yeah, okay.
And that's got all the bells and whistles that you can imagine in it. But the red leather seats, the ambient lighting, all that fun stuff. So that's the one that my wife drives.
That's awesome. I mean, you got to reward yourself. There's no point in working this hard and not rewarding yourself. And if you like cars, buy cars.
Yeah, but for a car that I would buy just for fun, I'd go back to a full-size Bronco.
Really?
Like a 92. I had a 92. It was one of my first cars. 92 Ford Bronco, and it's made out of real metal.
Right. Yeah.
It's not a whole bunch of electronics in there that are going to break. You can replace the battery if you want. Again, I'm not a car guy, but
without taking apart braces and moving.
It's simple enough where I could actually fix it.
Yeah.
And you can go off roading with it. There's a lot of trunk space. But you can go. It was a really fun car.
Yeah. Broncos are nice. I mean, I've never owned a Bronco, but when they're done right, they're nice. Oh, yeah. They're beautiful.
They could turn on a dime too for such a big SUV.
Really?
Oh yeah, the turning ratio on that was amazing.
Huh. Well, you're out in the desert too, and you can just go forever, anywhere. A lot of public land out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had a question of what does freedom mean to you, but it seems like you're living what you want. You travel, you do the things you want to do. You spend time with your family and your son, and it seems like you're living your life of freedom, from what I can tell.
Yeah, we have some pretty good freedoms, and we're real thankful for that. But there still is an attachment to the business.
Yep.
For most guys, when I say guys, they're guys and gals.
Yeah.
There always will be that attachment to the business. When people say, "Oh, I flipped 50 houses in a month, and I don't touch them or do anything in the business. I spend 1 hour a month doing my business."
Mm-hmm.
Not really the way it works.
Yeah.
You're if you're doing that, you're paying a lot of people a lot of money to do everything, and you're more of just a passive investor at that point. That's a little different.
Yeah.
But my business is always growing. 2016, we made a real push that, hey, we're going to grow this business.
Yeah.
We brought on, that's when we really started building up our team and doing a lot of different things. And this year, we opened up our own real estate brokerage, which
Awesome.
takes time. Even though I'm not a realtor or a broker, I own a brokerage now.
Yeah.
We're, like I said earlier, we're creating our own construction company. Now, these aren't businesses I'm going to manage hands-on, but I still have to be part of them.
Oh, yeah.
And during any type of growth phase, you can't just not be there for it. Otherwise, things aren't going to happen. You're going to lose more money than you're going to end up making.
Yeah.
So even though I do get to have a lot of freedoms and I can come and go as I please, I still have a lot of attachment to the office. But I'm okay with that. I like working.
Yeah.
And freedom's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. It's I can buy and sell houses while I'm on a beach in another country. That's cool. I can do it on the ski slopes. I've done that. I've signed documents while on a ski slope or out on a beach or in the air flying somewhere.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can do in real estate and what type of life you can create for yourself and for your family.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I've done it a couple of times. I've been able to sign, I think I got one flip on, where was I at? I think I was in Canada at the time. And then another, I got one, a wholesale, and I built a team, and a small team, but it's great. But like you said, you got to be there. You got to keep the grease in the gears so that the wheels keep turning.
Yeah. If you set up things, you can still go out and have fun. When I was in Italy last summer, I think I had 9 or 10 closings. And
awesome.
It all happened. It was like, I think I bought a house yesterday.
That's a good thing, right?
The machine is rolling, right? You train your people right, your VAs right. You know that with VAs, they're only as good as your training, right? People are, my VA is horrible. You didn't train them right.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with employees or staff or partners or team members.
Yeah.
Train everybody, and then give them freedoms to make decisions within their realm, and things move forward.
Yeah. I mean, couldn't say it by myself. I guess I have nothing else to say to that one because it's obviously true. And then my last one, I asked everybody, if you had 6 months to live, what do you think you'd do with it?
I would travel with my family.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. I'd probably do half of the time just in the car, driving to different places, because you get a little more quality time talking, hanging out.
Yeah.
And you get to see different things. When you fly places, you're flying over a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
But then I'd also pick, 2, 3, 4, 5 amazing destinations that you could really spend a couple weeks at and get immersed into. I don't like traveling to 5 different cities in 10 days.
Yeah.
Right. You just get to see a surface touristy look at things. You don't get to have the true experience of things. But I would definitely my wife and son with me and just go out and do that. And I probably, while I'm doing that, I would try to write another book or two. One book probably just for my son.
Yeah.
There's going to be the things that I can't impart with him now, but want to for his future.
Yeah. It's perfect. I was actually talking to, I'm so bad at names and I can't think of who it was, but I asked the same question, and same thing. It was the travel, but it was writing more notes and letters for their kids to read in the future.
Yeah, both my parents have passed away, and there's so many things that come up, and it's like, man, I wish I could just pick up the phone and call them and ask them about this, or I remember this happened, but I don't remember the details, or was I an awful kid growing up? Did you deal with this?
Right.
Because I'm dealing with my son. Not that my son's awful by any means.
Right, yeah.
But it's like sometimes it just you want to pull your hair out.
Yeah.
Like, how did you deal with that with me?
Yeah, same thing. My kids I got 2 girls, 11 and 12.
Oh,
yeah. And my oldest just got into middle school. I'm like, holy crap, what did I get myself into? My mom's always like, gotcha.
Yeah.
Came back to you. Yeah.
I've got a lot of nieces. So although I don't have a daughter myself, I'm pretty overprotective of nieces.
Yeah. And I was that child that was a wreck. So my mom's like, here's payback. But, well, hey, man, we're up on an hour. I don't want to take too much time. And that was my last question. If anybody wants to reach out and get a hold of you, ask about the book or anything, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook a lot. I do a lot of networking, training, teaching, whether it's my personal page or I've got a Facebook page just for the Flipping Blueprint. It's called the Flipping Blueprint Group.
Okay.
Amazing play on words there, right?
Yeah.
It's a safe place for people to come in, ask questions. There's some really great people in there doing high volume, amazing stuff. Ask questions, share your journey, share your experiences. But that's really the best way to reach me. But if you're in Vegas, I do parties in Vegas every couple months. I do a free meetup. We usually get somewhere around 80 to 100 people in it. I even raffle off hockey tickets with all proceeds going to charity.
Nice, perfect.
But just another way for us to give back to an industry that's done so well for us.
Yeah.
No fee, plenty of food and booze because that's what we like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, a fun time. But if you're in Vegas or you're traveling through, I post my events, and I'm happy to share.
Awesome. Wait, when's the next event?
September 21st.
Oh, let's come right up.
Yeah. About 3 weeks.
Yeah, I feel like I have something. I'd love to come out, but either way, we'll connect offline here. But I appreciate you coming on. Enjoyed it immensely. That's all I got for you.
Yeah. Can't believe we went through an hour. That went fast, Brandon.
It did go quick, yeah. Awesome, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot.